지금 다운로드 받으세요.
Exactly where he's playing. If you guys are a fan of reality, this is what you want to check out. Look at his career in individual leagues. The best result he ever had was DreamHack Open Stockholm in the round of 4. Not very well known for his individual league performances. Known to kind of be a solid member of Samsung and Pro League. That's kind of been his entire career in StarCraft 2.
He's like the only person who performs outside of Deer for that team. He's the guy who is keeping that team together along with Deer, especially because Hurricane, who is like kind of doing okay but has totally fallen off now, has fallen off. So he's not doing much for that team in Pro League, but he is going to go up against Losira, the Zerg player, the only Zerg player in this group.
Got some rad hair going on today, by the way. He's like curly cueing it up in the front, man. He looks like he's wearing a crown. What? You see what I'm saying? It's got like a crown, like his hair is going around. Never mind.
A little bit. I can kind of see what you're saying.
Anyways, he wants to crown himself the upset win out of the group. Wanted to get out instead of one of the Hero Maru or Zest players.
Well, he's definitely got to take this win if he wants to have a better chance, but it is Reality's first map here on Arena, his map pick. So let's go into game number 6 right now. We're back on Arena, Wolf and Nick's favorite map, Tasteless. And down here in the bottom left, in the red, it is Reality from Samsung.
And up to the top left, in blue, it's Losira. I'm showing us but nothing but aggro today, defensive hatches, things of that nature. When you think of Losira, you think about aggro, you think about a lot of banelings, you think about Incredible Miracle, the Glory Days. He's also a GSL finalist versus his teammate, Nesty. You'll see a really aggressive barracks here. When you think about Reality, I think most fans, when they think about Reality, they think, isn't he the guy who played that really long game versus Losira? I mean, sorry, against Sulky.
Yeah. And
that's about it. You know, he hasn't made a name for himself in StarCraft 2. Only to the most hardcore fans and casters like us who cast him all the time regularly. He's not that well known, despite the fact that he got a top 4 at a DreamHack, for example, as well. So, just one of those players that's looking for his breakout performance, but he's been looking for a long time.
Yep, still looking for that victory or just some sort of success here in Korea. Unfortunately, he does get placed in the hardest group, so we'll see how he does today, if he can sneak out some wins against these very strong players. He's going to start with a forward, barracks here.
Yep.
He's playing Terran, so just going to go with one Reaper. Not anything crazy, no 3 racks or anything all in like that.
And this is Reality's home map, so it's a strategy he's chosen against Losira specifically, not to try to throw Losira off. Losira's just going to be playing a little bit carefully. Notice this is the first map where Losira doesn't do anything with a hatchery. And a tough matchup to do that in, but still. Okay, the Lings will scout this. And it's tough for the Lings to deal with the barracks because of the tight wall, and he's just going to lose his first 2 Lings right away. And that can snowball very quickly. Losira starts a Queen, and every time he gets a larva, he's going to make 2 more Lings. And it's actually a Marine behind this. A factory is being made back at home. This is not an all-in. It's just like very light pressure. I thought he was going to be committing to more Reapers, but it's just kind of like, okay, let's force him to make a lot of Lings, but we're not actually going to try to out-micro him and get crazy damage done. Interesting.
Yeah. And once enough Marines come out here, it is going to be quite annoying. He's got his Lings actually in the perfect spot. But Reaper is going to get out. And Losira just being forced to commit to a lot of Lings here. Already 8 out on the map. 2 have gone down, so he's made 10 total. And he's only at 21 drones right now.
I wonder if we're going to see a siege tank push behind the side. That's what I'm starting to feel like we're going to see. He's going to get a medevac out. Losira's like, no, thank you, though. He's just going to go ahead and knock this depot down, and the Marine will go down. And there's not enough. There's not going to be enough Marines behind this to make the attack worth it if he does want to go tanks. I don't know about this strategy. Like, Losira just like read this like a book. He's like, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, nice try and all, but Queens are ranged, and you don't have enough Marines yet. There's the tank. But I don't know about this strategy. I think Losira is in a really good spot. He didn't overmake Lings because the Lings helped him deal with the barracks.
And he forces it to live, which is going to be really annoying for Reality.
Yeah, he can't make any Marines.
Anything. Yeah.
All he's going to have is a tank-evac in a second. That's literally all he's going to have. And he has the 2 Marines that are in this bunker to defend. He needs a tight wall around that, which he does make.
Yeah. Losira's got a massive tempo advantage. I think he needs to take that 3rd base here soon. Unless he wants to go really aggressive, like some kind of 2-base Roach, Ravager all-in type of stuff. You know, walk some Queens over.
But tank just barely in range of those Lings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think it is leaning towards maybe he wants to be super aggressive. He is getting an Evolution Chamber, which will likely be for drops, just based on how we've seen this this game go and the lack of a 3rd base. And with this tank out, it's even tougher to take a 3rd base. Not impossible, because it is only 1 tank, and there's nothing with it. But still, a lot more annoying, and all these tumors just got targeted down. Very well executed here by Reality. He's like, oh yeah, no 3rd base. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, he must be pretty happy about that. There's that drop Overlord you were talking about. We'll see what he wants to drop here. He has made a bunch of Lings, but no Roaches just yet.
I think Korean commentators just realized they were like, oh, it's a drop Overlord, but it doesn't have a different name, so that's really weird. Like,
still just an Overlord.
Oh, Queen's in there though.
Oh, I know what he's doing with this. He's actually using this to deal with the
tanks.
Yeah.
So he's going to try to snipe the medevac with the speed Overlord drop on the Queens.
Yeah, with the speed, you can catch up to the medevac and just target it down to the point where you force the Terran back. We've seen this before, and I think it's really important on this map too because tank evacs are so strong. And
yeah, you can just kind of dodge the siege tank shots with good micro on your Queens as well. This is my first time seeing it, to be honest, but it makes sense. Like I like
you just drop right on the tanks, and there's nothing they can do. They're forced to back off, and now that speed is done, that damage is going to be done. And now that you have it, you might as well go for some harass, especially on a map like this. But definitely the main focus there is to shut down the tank evac harass.
All right, well, shutting it down pretty hard.
Imagine the Queens with range, man. That medevac is done.
Oh, yeah.
All Zerg players waiting for that buff. We'll see if it happens.
These Marines not in the bunker there. That's going to cost them big. Just lift the rest of the Lings up here. Okay, this is going to be a dead medevac if Losira targets correctly. Okay, a bit late on the drop, and the Reality very quick on the pickup. So this is a soon-to-be 3rd base Zerg with an infestation pit. So he's kind of trying to rush his way up the tech tree.
Yeah.
Presumably to Ultralisk, but we'll have to wait and see because no one's ever gone Hive on this map before.
You guys are witnessing it with us, the first Hive ever made on this map, potentially. He is going to go for Infestors first. Not a bad choice, very common thing to do when you are heading down this path, but definitely has that potential to go into Hive.
He's getting Roach speed as well.
There it is.
Let's see if we can see the very first ever Hive on Arena.
Well, Reality wants to end the game first. He's already pushing across. He's got some Marines in position. We'll see what kind of damage he can get done here.
Ooh, scan goes down. Really good positioning here for Reality, actually. I'm not sure Losira should commit here, but it's a tough call because if he doesn't, the Marines are going to get in better position. The Infestors don't have the energy upgrade. Oh, one goes down already. Looks like he wanted to have these just in time for this push, but he was a little bit too late. And that is probably game, I'd say, right? I mean, he's losing all of his Infestors.
Yeah, infested Terrans coming out here and just being focused down immediately. And he's lost all of his Roaches. Roaches popping out and dying to tanks and Marines. And we got more and more stuff coming across the map, too. So even if he holds, not going to be easy to survive here. Nice focus on the medevac. Going to make it harder to retreat here for Reality, but so much damage has been done already.
Yeah, and Queens have such low attack speed. You're never going to kill the Marines. But the medevacs are going to out-heal your damage. And he does commit to the tanks with a few Roaches here, but the Marine's going to help buffer. And even if he tries to focus the tanks down, this happens. And yeah, Losira survives. And he does have 3 bases, but he lost all those expensive units, and the units of Reality are so cost-efficient, and he kept his expensive siege tanks alive. The Marines he lost are easily replaced.
Yeah. This is a very common position we see sometimes when Zergs try to go for that Hive where The Terrans just hit a timing if they can see it, and with the scan, Reality saw the infestation pit, so he's like, I know exactly when I need to attack. And that's when he attacked. I mean, there's no way that really Losira is going to be able to go into an Ultralisk Cavern. It costs too much. He needs to make defending units first.
Yeah, this game in particular reminds me of a few games I've seen over in the Australian WCS where, you know, this map gets played a lot in this matchup, and we see like all sorts of tank evac scenarios like this, and they pretty much all ended badly for the Zerg. In Korea, games end a lot of the time on this map even faster than this. But as this game goes longer, if the tanks stay alive, the more tanks Reality has to stack up in that choke point, the better it gets for him. Yeah, Ravagers can try to hit the tanks, but if you just lift them and dodge, then tanks just get dropped down again, and you start losing Roaches and Ravagers eventually because the tanks just fire so quickly, they have such great range. He does have an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. He's getting Adrenal Glands as well. It's just going to be that he can't research the upgrade that makes that choke point bigger, okay? Like, that's a problem, you know?
If only there was a unit that could actually create some space.
Yeah, what if there was like a Zerg unit that could just like spread its body out like a bridge to make choke points bigger?
StarCraft 3, I hope Blizzard's listening. We can get some pretty cool units out there. We already have the Sentry to, you know, choke up some space and deny, you know, surrounds and stuff like that. But
yeah, Terran can make it a new unit that makes holes in the ground or something. And so you're totally balanced.
Sounds good. We should definitely be on the design team.
Yeah. Invite me to the meetings, David Kim, please. I'll Skype in. I've got a lot of great ideas. Like Colossi should shoot air.
Yeah, there should be an upgrade that allows insta-nukes, actually. Nice Fungus here.
Yeah, he was getting a bit greedy with that one. This is what would have happened earlier when Reality attacked if he had enough energy on the Infestors. They were just a little bit off. And to be honest, I'm very impressed with where Losira is in this game, all things considered. Reality did back off, I think because he was scared of the Infestor, corrosive bio combos that could have happened in that choke point. But look, now he has a large enough army to where he's going to get ready to set up here. He's not actually using the choke point as I thought he would. Again, I think just scared about the Infestors. But if he gets in the right spot, the Infestors can never fungal because there's just so many tanks. He's just going to cut these bases in half. He's set up a wedge between them. And if Losira just attacks, he stims and defends. Man. So many medevacs. Yep. Ultra's almost out, 3 of them.
Already taking a bit of shelling from the tanks. And all the while, Reality is dropping too. Oh man, and already the Ultras popping out to take half their health and damage already. And look at this, Losira is having such a tough time even dealing with the drops.
He tries to go in from 2 angles, but realistically it's only 1 because the Ultras on the left side are already dead. And that should be game over here, ladies and gentlemen. Reality takes his first win.
Yeah, nicely done on his home map. So we'll get that win, whereas Losira actually takes a 3rd loss today. Not having a good time so far, already 1-3.
Reality, you know, having an interesting opening. He definitely struggled with that a little bit. I don't think he got the tempo advantage that he wanted, but when he got his tank evacs out, he was really careful with them. And even against the Queen drop that was chasing him around, he found damage, and he got a tempo advantage, and then he stood up in that choke point.
Yeah.
So
Arena, a rough map to deal with for sure. We were seeing a lot of Terrans actually in Group C pick Runes of Endion, which is also not a very easy map for Zergs to deal with against Terran. But I like the Arena picks actually by Reality up against Losira, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that by both Protoss and Terran up against Losira. And you can tell that Losira is not having much of a fun time.
He's not having a good time. He's 1-3. His only win is an away win, but it was versus his teammate, so yeah, you know, not always the most impressive.
Well, guys, we're going to take a short